Let's just be honest. Men aren't as simple as they pretend to be. Behind the calm smiles, deep voices, and everything is fine masks, lie a world of secrets that many women will never uncover. Society has conditioned men to hide vulnerability and truth, not just from the world, but especially from the women they love. These aren't just harmless quirks or innocent white lies. Some of these secrets could change how you see your partner forever. And no, this isn't about cheating or watching sports when they say they're busy. It's far deeper and more dangerous than that. If you've ever felt like your man was holding something back, this might be why. But what you're about to hear will shake the foundation of everything you thought you knew about men. Stick around till the end, because secret number 5 will absolutely blow your mind and might even explain some of your unanswered questions about past relationships. Secret number 1. He fears not being enough, but he'll never tell you. Most men live in silent fear of inadequacy, not being man enough, rich enough, smart enough, strong enough, or even emotionally stable enough. But the scariest part, he hides this fear with confidence. He masks it with jokes, sex, money, or silence. He'll laugh at your goals because he's scared of how quickly you're growing. He'll avoid deep conversations because he fears being exposed as not having it all together. And when you think he's emotionally distant, sometimes it's not because he doesn't care, but because he's terrified that if you see the real him, you'll walk away. He wants to be your rock, but deep down, he's scared he's more like sand. And here's the truth. This fear of inadequacy affects how he loves, how he argues, and how he shows up in the relationship. Secret number 2, he compares you more than you'll ever know. Yes, even the loyal ones do it. Not always in a sexual way, but in a subconscious checklist kind of way. He compares your body, your voice, your career, your level of support, even your cooking, to his ex, to his mother, to his friend's wife. It's not that he doesn't value you. It's that comparison has been wired into him as a silent measure of success. If he thinks you measure up, you'll never hear about it. But if he thinks you don't, he may begin to withdraw emotionally, without explanation. And no, he won't admit this to you. Because if he does, he knows the mask of "I love you just the way you are" will crack, and you might not look at him the same again. If you've ever felt unappreciated out of nowhere, this might be why. If this is hitting hard already, it's time to hit like, subscribe, and share, because someone else out there needs to hear this too. Secret number 3. Sometimes he's attracted to someone else, but chooses you anyway. This is the one nobody wants to hear. It's uncomfortable, maybe even infuriating, but it's real. Attraction doesn't stop just because a man is in love or in a committed relationship. There will be moments when he sees someone else and feels something, a spark, a thought, or maybe a fantasy. But here's the truth. The strength of his character isn't in not feeling the attraction. It's in not acting on it. The real issue is that many men won't talk about this because they're afraid of being misunderstood or accused. So they bury the thought and pretend it never existed. But that suppression doesn't always disappear. It builds resentment, or worse, secret guilt. And yet, every time he chooses you despite the pull, he's silently asking for recognition. Not praise, not worship, but acknowledgement. Now if you think these first 3 were wild. Secret number 4 will crack open a truth most men take to the grave. Secret number 4. He sometimes resents the emotional pressure placed on him, but he's scared to admit it. You've probably heard this before. Men don't open up, but have you ever stopped to ask why? The truth is, many men feel trapped between 2 extremes. On one hand, they're told to be vulnerable. On the other, they're judged or dismissed when they are. And so they shut down. What's worse, some men begin to secretly resent the emotional demands that comes with relationships. The late-night heart-to-hearts, the need to constantly reassure, the unspoken expectation that they should just know how you're feeling. They won't say it out loud because they don't want to sound cold, insensitive, or like they don't care. But deep down, some men feel like they're drowning in a sea of emotional responsibility, while no one is checking if they're okay. This resentment doesn't always explode, but it simmers quietly, and over time, it changes how he shows up for you. It's not that he doesn't care about your feelings. It's that he feels like he's failing at both ends. Society says he should be strong, stoic, and in control, but relationships demand he be soft, sensitive, and emotionally present. And most men were never taught how to balance the two. So what do? They compartmentalize. He'll bottle everything up until it either turns into anger, silence, or emotional distance. Or worse, he'll give just enough to keep you satisfied, while secretly tuning out everything else. That's when you start feeling like he's physically there, but emotionally gone. That's not by accident. That's self-preservation. Men aren't emotionless. They're just emotionally exhausted. And many are silently screaming for permission to be human. Secret number 5. He has wounds from past relationships, and he's still bleeding. This one, it's the secret he'll never, ever say out loud, because in a man's world, vulnerability is often seen as a weakness. But don't be fooled. That calm, collected man sitting next to you, he may still be carrying trauma from an ex who betrayed him, manipulated him, used him, or made him feel small. He may still be trying to prove to himself that he's worthy of love, and he may be loving you with a guarded heart. Not because of you, but because of what he hasn't healed from. And here's the brutal truth. Sometimes, he punishes the new woman for the sins of the old one. Without even realizing it, he questions your intentions. He pulls away when things get too good. He sabotages moments of intimacy. Because in his mind, pain is predictable. Love is not, and that terrifies him more than anything. And you know what's even harder? When a good woman walks away because she thought she wasn't enough. When in reality, she was just standing too close to a man still fighting ghosts. This is the part no one talks about, how unhealed men accidentally destroy women trying to love them. He may never say it, but every time he pushes you away, deep down, he's scared that history is going to repeat itself. That you'll leave, that you'll cheat, that he'll break, so he builds walls, and then wonders why he feels alone. But here's the real kicker. Most men want to heal. They just don't know how. And until someone forces the conversation, the cycle continues. Now that you've heard all 5 secrets, it's time to flip the script. Because this isn't just about men hiding truths. It's about why they're afraid to let them out. So let's be real. What happens when a man carries these 5 secrets into a relationship? It creates a false version of intimacy. One where everything looks picture perfect on the outside, but underneath is a ticking emotional time bomb. Women begin to feel like they're dating a stranger, someone who smiles during dinner, but emotionally vanishes when it really counts. Arguments escalate over nothing. Silence becomes a weapon. Affection starts feeling transactional. And the worst part, many women blame themselves. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm overthinking. But sis, what if I told you that you're not overthinking? He's undercommunicating. You're not being too emotional. He's just emotionally unavailable. And here's the hard truth. You can't love a man's trauma out of him if he's committed to hiding it. Men walking around with unspoken pain and emotional suppression become masters of distraction. They overwork, oversleep, overdrink, or oversex their way through life. Not because they're careless, but because the feeling is too overwhelming. And when women ask them to open up, they either lash out or shut down. Why? Because they've been told all their lives that real men don't cry. Real men don't talk. Real men don't need therapy. Instead of them saying, I'm scared, or I feel broken, they say things like, I'm fine, or worse, you're just being dramatic. But that's not love, it's emotional avoidance. And if you stay too long in that cycle, you begin to question your own worth. Ladies, understand this. A man's silence is not always peace. It's often pain pretending to be strength. Now let's talk about what this silence does to women. Women in relationships with emotionally guarded men often suffer in silence too. They become emotional caretakers, trying to guess what he feels, walking on eggshells, overextending themselves to make him open up. But here's the warning. That emotional labor will burn you out. Slowly, you'll lose your laughter, your spark, and eventually your sense of self. You'll feel like you're giving everything and receiving crumbs in return. And then, when you finally walk away, he might wake up, but sometimes it's too late. Because love isn't just about who's willing to stay. It's about who's willing to grow. A man's secrets shouldn't become your suffering, and you can't fix what he won't admit is broken. So, what now? Do you run from every man who seems emotionally closed off? No, but you stop excusing emotional immaturity as just how men are. You stop accepting one-sided love stories as normal. And most importantly, you stop trying to heal men who haven't chosen healing for themselves. Yes, men carry pain. Yes, society has failed them in teaching vulnerability. But that's not a license to damage women in the process. At some point, every man must make a choice to confront his inner demons, Let's get one thing straight. Being understanding does not mean being emotionally used. There's a difference between holding space for someone and carrying the entire emotional weight of a relationship. Some women become emotional dumpsters, absorbing every insecurity, every excuse, and silent shutdown in the name of being a ride or die. But how many women have died emotionally while trying to ride for a man who was emotionally unavailable from day one? Let's stop glorifying struggle love. You are not hard to love. You are just trying to love someone who's emotionally locked behind secrets he refuses to unpack. Love is not therapy, and your presence alone will never be enough to fix a man who isn't ready to fix himself. And here's where it gets even messier. When you try to leave, that's when he opens up just enough to keep you. Ever noticed how some men don't show emotion until you've had enough? Suddenly, he's vulnerable, he's scared, he's sorry, and for a moment, you feel hope, but pay attention. Is he opening up because he's ready to change, or because he's afraid to lose the benefits of your love? There's a big difference between transformation and manipulation. Many men really know how much to reveal to buy more time, without ever doing the real work. Don't confuse emotional breadcrumbs with healing. You deserve the full meal. So how do you protect yourself? First, understand that boundaries aren't selfish. They're survival. If a man can't respect your emotional needs, your time, and your energy, then he's not your partner. He's your project. And projects don't build relationships. They drain them. Second, stop romanticizing potential. Love isn't about seeing who someone could be. It's about who they choose to be right now. If a man is emotionally distant, it's not your job to unlock him like a puzzle box. You are not his missing piece. You are already whole. And sis, repeat this to yourself daily. If I have to suffer to keep him, he's already gone. Finally, recognize that a healed woman is a threat to every man still hiding behind secrets. You become less tolerant of inconsistency, less drawn to silence, less willing to bleed emotionally for a man who won't even hand you a band-aid. And that's a good thing. Your standards will offend the unhealed, but it will protect your peace. Because healing doesn't just mean walking away. It means walking away and never second-guessing why. And when that man finally decides to unpack the secrets he thought you will never find out, you'll be too far gone to be affected. Because real power isn't changing him. It's changing how much of yourself you're willing to lose trying. Let's be brutally honest. Every woman watching this knows what it feels like to know something is off, but not have proof. That gut feeling that tells you he's hiding something, emotionally checked out, or keeping secrets you don't even know how to ask about. But here's the twist. His silence is the evidence. His emotional unavailability, his defensiveness, his refusal to open up. Those are the secrets. It's not always another woman. Sometimes, the betrayal is simply that he refuses to be fully present with you, that he gives you half of himself while expecting all of you. And you, my friend, you keep showing up, bleeding love, hoping he'll finally meet you in the middle. But secrets breed shame, and shame builds walls, and you deserve a partner, not a prisoner of his past. It's time to say what many are afraid to say. A man who refuses to be vulnerable is not protecting you. He's protecting his ego. And a relationship without vulnerability is just performance. Yes, society failed most men. Many were never taught how to express their emotions. But there comes a time when every man has to choose. Stay emotionally stunted or grow up. Because being emotionally available is not a weakness. It's maturity. And if he can't give you that, then love is not what he's offering. It's control dressed up in romance. The truth is, too many women are settling for emotionally starving relationships because they've been told men are just like that. That lie ends now. To every woman watching this, start asking better questions. Stop falling for charm and start observing emotional patterns. Can he sit with hard conversations without blowing up? Can he apologize without being defensive? Can he talk about his past without turning it into a pity party? These aren't deep questions. They're basic requirements for healthy love. Stop being afraid to ask for more just because others have settled for less. Emotional availability is not a luxury. It's the foundation. And remember this, love isn't proven by how long you stay. It's proven by how safe and seen you feel while staying. So here's your final truth bomb. Some men will never heal, simply because they've always had someone who tolerated their brokenness without requiring accountability. Don't be that woman. Refuse to make excuses for behavior that keeps you emotionally starved. Set your standards, keep them high, Walk away when they're not met. And never shrink your needs to keep a relationship alive. If this video triggered you, it's probably because you've lived it. So don't just watch. Drop a comment and share this with a friend who needs it. And subscribe, because we're having more of these uncomfortable but necessary conversations. Like and comment, subscribe, and most importantly, remember, secrets can't survive where truth lives. You deserve nothing less than a love that's honest, open, and whole.